There we go. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's just see if we are live. Good to go. Just going to quickly pop myself on. Yep, we are good to go. Alright, welcome to today's stream. A little bit longer than I would have expected to start, just because I did wake up a little bit earlier. And internet cut out, and then went to go and set up the configuration for YouTube, and YouTube seems to be pulled its stream now on it's pulled its stream now on Restream. So it's a bit of a challenge to kind of mitigate and get around and create a YouTube event quickly and get that sorted. And so yeah, that's pretty much that. So yeah, well, today we're going to be kicking it back off. I'm just going to edit some text. That's the chat. That I just need to add support PowerShell conference book volume 3. Book volume 3. Just paste that link up article and make it visible. There we go. So PowerShell conference book volume 3 is out. It has been out for quite some time. If you haven't been using it, you don't know what it is. It's a book that basically is basically a whole bunch of SMEs in PowerShell get together, decide to write a book. Essentially, it's a conference in a book. Lots of, obviously, it's quite in depth, so you have a bit of an understanding of PowerShell before you kind of buy the book. But it's a very, very good very good reference for. Why am I doing that? It's a very, very good reference for resources that are just a really good reference for PowerShell as a resource. So it contains tons and tons of in-depth content, really level your PowerShell skills. So yeah, so that's a pretty cool book to get behind. Obviously, all donations for the book go. All profits of the book go to donations. So essentially, it's all going to the on-ramp program. On the on-ramp program, essentially, you have it's basically for marginalized people who try and get into IT, things like that. So I definitely recommend checking it out. It's obviously supporting a good cause, but it's obviously a really good, invaluable resource as well. So let's get stuck into it. So where were we last? So first thing is we can close down our OBS timer, clean that up. Let's zoom this in, make sure everyone can see my code a bit better. Close. Cool. All right. So there's a couple of things that were broken that we did note with. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. Just going to go ahead and do a bit of a cleanup. There's a couple of things that were broken last time. So our debug kind of breaks after some time. Which makes it quite hard to troubleshoot. So what we're going to be doing is just kind of seeing if we can get around that. If we can't get debug working, then it is what it is. We're just going to have to kind of go on without it. Don't like to go on without it, but oh well, it is what it is. I'm not particularly too worried about it. All right, so let's go and have a quick squiz at what's going on here. So where were we last? I believe we're up to get sentiment. So if we go back to our orchestration here, so this is our durable start sentiment orchestrator. That's another thing I need to do. I need to actually go to hot copper. So we were here. Yeah, so we've got all this working, all that's working. So we can now scrape a user using an activity. Just going through all this. There were some interesting things with this. It seems like splatting was behaving weirdly, so that's something that I need to. I know that I need to have a look at, so I'm just going to have a. Something was not right. So essentially, the input wasn't passing in correctly. It tried everything. It just wasn't splatting in, which was really weird. Weird behavior. After all, it is an alpha, so I'm not expecting the best, but it is what it is. We obviously scrape all the data, so that works. Passes into here, and then we're ready to send it off to sentiment analysis. So we're up to get Azure sentiments. Don't know if this is going to work. Let's just put debug right. See what happens. I have upgraded PowerShell again, so this is either going to break catastrophically or it's not. But we will see. So let's go ahead and start this and see how we're at. Oh yeah, forgot about that. Better start my local storage. Azure Storage Emulator. Start that bad boy up. We need to can that. Right again. So what I'm trying to understand here is why things are not working the way they are. So the problem with it seems to be with the this kind of version is the fact that it can't pass type. So essentially, you're kind of stuck with PS custom objects, which is not the end of the world. It's just quite annoying, especially when you've just got a complete object and you're trying to show it in, and you're expecting a specific type. Kind of gets a little frustrating. Oh, we stopped already. Something's happened. Okay, it looks like it started now. Okay, it started. Alright, let's go trigger it. So we can do grab old mate here, so that's our URL. So we can go and hit that. So I'm just going to do that now. Just go username equals. Show of 40's talking again. Good. Like so. So we can then just hit that. So it's going to our local host. Okay, so now it's started the actual function app. You can see it's scraping the data. That's it, sending all the jobs off to sentiment analysis. It's 395 posts. That's quite substantial. Now we're just waiting for the response. The CPU is probably going to be running a bit hot now. Let's see what's happening. There we go. So you can see now we get the output. So this is all the output that's coming back from the sentiment analysis. And then it crashed. Oh boy, good start. Good start to the stream. Oh man, I've never seen that error before. I've never seen it crash like that before. It is completely broken. Oh boy. It is, yeah, it's stuffed. Maybe we shouldn't attach a debugger to it. Which is a problem because that's completely makes things a little bit more challenging. It's funny. I just completely broken VS Code. I've never seen that error before. That's brand new, though. That's fantastic. Yeah. What to do now? I'm kind of stuck in a bit of a pickle. So, I have no idea how we're going to troubleshoot this, but so we're just going to have to kind of blind eye it and see what we can do, and kind of get it working to a point where I can kind of get extrapolate some data structures out of it. So we got parameter input, so it's passing in the parameters. So we've got the task output, so that's all good. Passing in the username. So what I think I'm going to do here is I'm just going to skip that, and I'm just going to skip that. We're just going to stop that, and then we're just going to do a write output here. We're just going to say output like so. And then what we're going to do here is I just want to do a quick write warning because there is so much data that it's trying to rip out. And honestly, I don't want to see it all, so I'm just going to say write warning, and I'm just going to say, actually, all I want to see is the info. I don't really want to see that. That's going to be savage. I just want to see the username. Like so. Honestly, this is not the kind of debugging that I recommend, but in this case, when everything is a little bit flaky, it's probably the best chance of success. All right, so once we've done that, let's see what the dealio is. All right, let's see what the dealio is. All right, so doing all the hyphens there, and let's just go start. Now, before we do that, we actually need to clear the existing job because technically it's crashed. So what will have happened is that job will still persist, which is what we don't want, because if we have the job persisting, then it's going to cause issues, and it'll just pick up the existing job, which I don't want. I don't want that job to be present. Let's see what happens when we start it now. All right, so see what happens. Come on. So step one, trigger it. We need to wait. I honestly, I might just hard code some bits and pieces in here to kind of stop the just make it a little bit quicker so we're not saturating memory, but we will see. If this is taking forever, which it usually will, it takes about 30 seconds, I might just hard code it to 1. So we still get a user, maybe 2, so it's an array, it's a definite array, and then we don't have to worry about this. Now if this crashes again, we're going to definitely have to limit it because it seems to be a problem with, it seems to be a new problem that's been introduced with code. So yep, it's still going. And the thing is with the activity functions, all they're doing is still web jobs. They're just creating web jobs out of it. It's not a PowerShell job, it's just a web job. So yeah, it's nothing super special. It's just an easier way to manage it, especially when you can just describe what you want in the configuration. So you can still see it's still scraping. You can see the data we're pulling out here. So we're actually pulling out content, which is good. I'm just going to do a quick check up on it, see if it's actually status. Yeah, it's still running. Oh, interesting. Oh, there we go. And wire output, username, and nothing. So the runtime status is fail. Which is interesting because I'm not sure why it's failed. Something's failed catastrophically. So I think I'm going to clear the jobs, and then we're going to have a quick squiz at this. I'm going to stop this. So there seems to be issues with the parallel tasks again. So you got post.count. Yeah, ID counters within the, yeah, okay, that's why that's happening. I'm just gonna do a turn here. Ask to do a break. So we can kind of just have some, but we're not going to get a ton of content. At least if we can force it, because what we can see right now is username for some reason is not being passed. That should be being passed because username is up here, which is the context of input. The reason why it's not getting passed is because I'm passing, it's not PowerShell calls case sensitive. So that was a good spot on my behalf. Let's see what happens now. Just want to quickly test that again and see what happens. Oops. Let me start that. Let's trigger him again. Let's get started. Oh, still hasn't started up yet. Here we go. Just waiting on that. There should only be a certain amount of content there. And then we can kind of keep carrying on. The reason why it might have not existed is because there's okay. The reason why that's not working is because it doesn't have a property username. So it technically does exist. It's just going to be broken. Let's see what happens if we re-trigger it. What happened? Oh. There you go. Okay, good. So the user's there. We're good. Alright, so if I go get the status, okay, it's completed, which is good. Alright, so now we can have a look at what getSentiment's expecting. But before we do that, well, we're passing a custom object into that, so I don't think we necessarily need to... So we can just pass it. Oh no, we're passing JSON. Alright, it's time to plug it in. So we're just going to do that. Alright. What I'm going to do is modify I'm just going to put a where's ID counter being defined? what I'm going to do here is let's say if i's counter is equal to 2, I'm just going to break so we can remove that. We can remove that. Can speed things up. I don't really particularly want to have to wait for ages. So we're only really doing a small subset of data, and then we can expand it out later. I'll just add a quick remove me. Alright, so let's give that a crack. So what I want to see here is just his sentiment with the username, and then we can kind of start to kind of troubleshoot it from there. So I'm just going to go ahead and clear our jobs, and then we're going to go ahead and restart. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I should be able to trigger it. See if it wants to play. Yep, let's go. Oh no. Now it is. So I should be scraping a tiny bit of data. Obviously it's going to scrape all the posts, which is perfectly fine. Oh, there we go. Tons of errors. Alright, let's have a look. I'm just going to stop it. So first thing we need to check is was that function started? So let's do this. Yep, okay, it started. Unable to find type user. Okay, so that's the first thing we have is we got the specific user type with get sentiment. Now, what we can probably do, yeah, this is a function that's included within the profile. We can probably grab this code and move it into the activity itself because it doesn't necessarily need to be here. We can just shim it in. It's not really it's not a supporting function. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so now so you can see first thing we need to do, we've got user.posts. So activity user posts. So I'm going to pass that into that, convert to REST body. So essentially it takes the user post and converts it into a REST body. So we can go ahead and remove. I'm going to keep that for the time being. Actually, I just want to see if there's anyone else in here. Okay, the other thing you can see, it's actually working with the object itself. So you get user post index, then you get user.posts, user post index. So it's basically there's a So it might actually make better sense to create a user object. I'm trying to think about how to shim this in because, like, ultimately it will require a bit of rewriting, but I'm just trying to think what the effective way to do this is. So if we go user and then we can just go, I can just go relationship between the two. That's fine. That's fine. And then what we can do actually, thinking I might take a copy, because if I can clone it, just trying to think, is there any other time I'm going to need it? I don't think I am. Right, so then the next thing that we need to do here, because the original user class had this work to rest body. We'll have to get back to that. It calls sentiment results dot add, calls this dot add method. So what we might need to do here, I have to have a look at that original object, and I biffed it. I might not have. I have. I biffed it. Oh well. This is what happens when you write things as classes and then you kind of forget about it, and then you have to kind of pick up the pieces. So sentiment results is an object within that class. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to use a select expression to add that specific item. So essentially it's a, if I see it's calling an add, it's a list item that it's adding to. We're going to need to reconstruct this object. This is a pain, I think, as well. So what it's doing here is it's adding the result. Need to join the data back up to the user object, iterate through each of these items and join it back to the user post. So it's iterating through the post, and then it's matching to the message ID, documents, user post index, sentiment results, add. Ooh, this is a tough one. Honestly, I think I need to go and try and dig out that class. That will definitely make it a lot easier. It's a really tough one to kind of, we need to add this, so that's, we might as well do that. But I'm just trying to articulate in my head how it hangs together. Oh, g'day Shane, how you going, mate? How's the weekend or Friday afternoon for you? Actually, let's maybe meet midnight. Oh, yeah. It must be early morning or late night. Where you guys are at the moment? Right. Like, it's really challenging because ultimately we've got the user post and the username. Great. Actually, username. So, we need to construct this object. Okay, 9 o'clock. Wow. Whiskey and PowerShell Gardens. That'll do it. It's 6:31 in the morning here. So nothing but water and cuddles with my daughter. All right, so all right, I think this is what we're going to do. So essentially, we have this user post. We are going to construct. We are going to reconstruct the object. Until I can kind of articulate it, what it looks like in my head, I'm just gonna do it this way. It returns a user. Where does the username go? I think I've never seen. Where's the username go? Yep. Doesn't actually join. Well, I'm gonna attach the username because it's always good to have. So let's just put him in there. Like so. Then we're going to actually go user.posts. So we're going to say posts. And this is where it's going to kind of get a little bit wonky. So bear with me for a second. So what we need to do here. For each object. We're going to say, now I'm kind of going to try and reconstruct this class without me actually remembering what I did based on the content that we're providing in. Okay, so that. I think I need to look at this, but we will take it one step at a time. User posts. Okay, is an array. Then we got sentiment results. So we're going to tack that bad boy on. So user posts, sentiment results. Quickly grab an array. Where's the durable function start? Please grab some boilerplate code. I honestly wish I'd snippet this, but I'm just too lazy to. That's the durable. Oh boy. Okay. Where is it? It's not that one. Okay, there's just sentiment. Get user. I'm just trying to find the boilerplate code that you can use to create a list item. I honestly just can't remember it off the top of my head, so I generally just go and copy and paste it. Create list item. Sure. Because I want to plug it into array list. There we go. Oh no, that's array list. I don't want to use an array list. I want to use a generic list. That's what I want. Thank you. So what I'm thinking of doing is if we go back to get sentiment. Honestly, this can be whatever it wants to be. I have no idea what it's going to be expecting, so I'm just going to set this custom object. And then we actually have each of the properties within man, I'm totally doing this the wrong way. Let's do some PowerShell magic. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to say oh, okay. So we're going through that. Now we have the current object. I'm just trying to remember what type it is. It would be a PowerShell. It would be a PS object. So what we can do is going to quickly jump into quick demo here. Just something else. So like that. We have to do a get member. So we're looking for node properties. So what we can do now is if we go just dynamically add them. I could do a select expression. Yeah, what? I'm just gonna do a select expression. It's actually far better than doing this way. This way is kind of a bit weird. So what we can do there is we can just essentially do a select object star. So just give me everything back. And then we can just whack on an expression like so. In this way, we don't have to write complicated logic. And then we can just use our expression, which essentially is just okay, create me a new list item, also a generic list, and then that should be it. So essentially, grab all the existing objects, grab them all, and then create a list item. I'll create a generic list and attach sentiment results to that. That's really it. I don't think we need to do anything else there. I was thinking about just dynamically adding them, and I'm like, nah, just use it to a select expression. Okay, so what we're doing now is I need to kind of chuck that right host there. So now we have the user, the username, the post. We've attached that. Get rid of those. Actually, I'm just going to Do that, pop that there, so it kind of shims it in. So we user.post, convert to REST body. So let's have a squiz at this. This is going to be an interesting one. Let's see what it's going to do here. So it's an object, it takes whatever. Declare the return body, which is body. It creates a custom object. So user post.message body, that's perfectly fine. Split paragraph, yep. Then it will get the paragraphs from that. Yeah, that should be good to go. I don't think there's really anything else. Yeah, okay. Anyway. So Shane, how's the job going, man? I think this looks like it's going to continue to work. So it should just plug in. The word should. Essentially what this piece of code does is it transforms all the requests into a batching body. So it is able to, it looks at the request, it splits the body into the paragraph. So you can see it splits the paragraph, does some very interesting logic. I'm actually pretty proud of this logic, the way it handles it. So if we can kind of go in the split paragraph, it creates your list, it goes through the length, and what it tries to do is it tries to split it in the middle of a sentence. So if you have a paragraph, let's say quite a large paragraph, it'll try and find the middle and it'll find the closest full stop to that, and then it will cut it in half. And it's the closest on either side. So if it doesn't contain any full stops, it's just going to gut it in half. Otherwise, it's going to split it based on the index. So yeah, it's a really piece of cool. It's a cool function. It allows you to split paragraphs into the best match. All good. New company, so have to learn all the systems. 4 different types of MFA onto servers. Wow, you got 4. That's like, man, you should come work for a managed service provider. Let me just quickly go through how many MFAs I've got. Like, I have so many MFAs and so many different apps too. So I've got a semantic app, I've got Microsoft Authentication app, I've got the Duo. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got 9. Let's not play Apple. Bingo. Yeah, 100%, mate. That's the problem I have with managed service providers, is the fact that you just all, like, you got so many MFAs. So yeah, good times. All right, so let's see what happens. So we're going to try and plug this in to see what it is going to do. I think this is going to be okay. Problem is we are now 100% live. Oh yeah, damn, only 7. Oh man, I wish I had less. 7 is too many. 1 should be like, yeah, like there's a new feature within the there's a documentation software called IT Glue. New feature that they've added where you can actually add MFA directly to that. So like my user passwords are stored in IT Glue. So rather than me having to have the auth set up on my phone, I can just direct it to IT Glue and it'll basically manage the MFA there. Problem with doing that is the fact that it takes ages to set up. So but it's worth it because I don't want to have to keep like managing it on my phone. So yeah. All right. Let's do this. All right, so we're gonna convert that. I'm just gonna have a quick. Honestly, I have no idea what this is gonna do. It's either gonna be really good or it's gonna be tragically bad. The problem is, if we put a weight debugger on it, it'll crash. Actually, it might not crash if we, because we have only a tiny subset of data. I'm hoping. But we'll find out. So let's go ahead and try and start this. First time you missed it. The first time I ran it, Shane, what happened was it literally got to weight debugger and VS Code just completely crashed, like hard crash. It just basically said pump. The VS Code closed. Good stuff. So we'll find out whether we get the same issue now. Yeah, a function app with PowerShell, a dual function app with PowerShell is really quite flaky. It's obviously still alpha, so I can't kind of expect the world of it, but I'm kind of hoping that it's going to kind of calm down a bit once they start getting standardized. Because the problem I'm having at the moment is that it's just not playing ball. Like, it literally, debugging is half working, things like that, and it's just quite annoying. So we're going to trigger it. So I've just hit it, so you can see it's scraping all that data. And now, oh, we got a debug session. Oh my god, that's so good. I'm so happy. Okay. We need to limit the amount of depth we're trying to shove into the computer. All right, now the key thing is unable to find type user. Where's that at? Where's type user? I'm just gonna have a quick look. Okay, so okay, let's go ahead and stop. If we've got it working, let's just go ahead and stop it. Just gonna close the debugger. Oh, we have hung. I'm hoping that it can kind of hold on. All right, so I think we need to go through now and kind of clean that up. So that's fine. I'm just gonna clean that up there. Okay, so first thing is that this doesn't work. So let's okay, we need to kind of find the sentiment. Okay, so that's fine. I'm literally going to now start gutting it, looking for user. Activity get user. Oh no, it's, how does it get user? Oh no, it's down the bottom here. Get user sentiment. Okay, good. So get user sentiment. We need to gut this. What I'm going to do is just do this since it's quite flaky, and let's go ahead and restart this, see if we can get this to work. All right, so that's completed. Let's go ahead and start it. Actually, no, we need to use the debug to start it. Well, we got it working. Oh, stop. First thing we need to do is clear. We're going to clear any jobs that basically is... Oh boy, it's starting up. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I don't care. I'm clearing it. I need to clear the existing jobs in the storage emulator. So, durable function creates a job, and if it fails, it'll try and pick up on the last activity. We don't want that. We actually want to start it always from scratch because it ensures that we're always re-executing the workflow that we're trying to troubleshoot. Obviously, once it's in production, that's perfectly fine, but obviously for debugging purposes, it's an absolute headache. Especially when you don't know what input you provided, things like that. Things can vary, so it can kind of get quite frustrating. So are you still doing a similar role, Shane, where you're basically doing more, are you still doing DBA life stuff, or you kind of moved past DBA lifing? Okay, let's have a look now. All right, we can find out if this is going to work or not if we do this. All right, debug's not working. So this is the reason why we have to go to an older version of PowerShell. So we need to attach our debug, and we need to go back to PowerShell. Okay, it stopped. We need to go to PowerShell. Still another version. We need to go to the older version. We need to reload. While we're doing that, let's go ahead and clear that job in the storage emulator. Now, hopefully this time this should fix our issues. Yeah, I came across this the other day, Shane. I think you'll find quite interesting. It's Freelancer. I don't know if you remembered it. It was 2005? You said, stop when my computer died. Cheers, mate. You're welcome. Yeah, so Freelancer, 2005, I think. Is it 2005? I think it's 2005. It was 2005 or 6. Oh man, this is like one of the greatest games. Like one of my most probably liked, most replayed game in terms of sentiment. Just because of its nature, like the space trading thing. And Discovery released a mod. I have no idea what it's doing. I don't know if it's running or not. I did trigger it. Let's just get the status. It's running apparently. It was a was it not older than that? Let's have a quick look. Let me just quickly bring it up. I can't believe it was made by Digital Anvil, which was published by Microsoft. Um, Still, it blows my mind. 2003. Wow, there you go. That's old. Like, that is old. Hasn't aged well, though. Hasn't aged well at all. But still, it's a great game. Absolute fantastic game. So it seems like it's running something, but I have no idea what it's doing. So I'm just going to re-trigger it. See if we can... Yeah. Okay, now it's scraping. Good. So I was actually thinking about, like, it was years ago, 2000, like 5 years ago, we did a LAN party, which is, not fun, considering that Freelance is still that old. Actually, no, it is. Okay, so you can see here it's starting to get sentiment, but it's not hooking in the debugger. So this is the problem we have. We either can have a debugger that doesn't work properly, or no big debugger at all. So I think what we're going to probably have to do is kill everything, clear all the jobs, re-upgrade to the latest version, and then what we're going to have to do is just crash debug it, unfortunately. But anyway, yeah, so we're doing a I just want to see. I might be able to see it on the side there, so I'm hoping we might be able to see these variables up on the side. We might be able to kind of work our way around this. So with back to Freelancer, so essentially we did a LAN party. I actually went and found the ISO image. I've actually got on my NAS. I actually kept my LAN party image. So essentially, I created a VHD. And within that VHD, it's basically Windows 10. It's an early version of Windows 10. But I literally built it so that essentially a person could dual boot their machine, and basically, like, you just copy it to a USB drive, dual boot your machine, and then basically just boot it from that. And it would go ahead and install all the drivers, but essentially you didn't have to install all the games because it was a self-contained image. And this is when USB 3 was out, so copying that took like 5-10 minutes. So distributing it was amazing. It was so good. Anyway, and what we did was we actually, like, oh man, I was just going through some of my code and it's like pretty savagely bad. But what I did was I created a PowerShell script. So we used the discovery mod, and then we modded the mod, and then I took textures and stuff from another mod and then shoved them into the discovery mod, and we created custom systems. We created this whole kind of big, me and my mate created this whole big PvE story that people could fly through, and we modified so much. It wasn't funny. There was so much stuff that we had to modify. Anyway, so we finally got it all working. Starting activity, get username. Now it's all kind of flaked out. Yep, it's now flaked out. So that's good. This is honestly really frustrating. Let's go try and reload. No. Essentially what it did was, and then what we did is we created like checkpoints and things like that, and then using the server manager, I wrote a PowerShell script which essentially you could issue commands to the server. So essentially, if you wanted to reset, add money and things like that, you could literally just you could do it in game, but most people didn't know the commands. So it was easy just to kind of have a PowerShell script. So you can basically get in space, you basically log in, put your username in, and then it'll give you a whole menu. Hey, what kind of ship do you want to put in? Do you want a capital ship? Do you want like all this kind of stuff? And then basically you press a number, and then what it would do is it would basically send a request off to the server, and the server would basically set you up, and it would set all the reps up and basically get, it automated the whole thing. It was so good. And I actually remembered at the very end, everyone had an absolute blast. It was such fun. But for some reason, good times. I'm actually tempted to do it again. Except this time, I was thinking of grabbing the files, and then basically just injecting the files, putting it on GitHub, and then building a whole CI process out of it. So essentially, I can compile the process. So, yeah. Anyway, yes, that's probably what I was thinking about. I'll probably want to do it again because it was a lot of fun. Like, it's a lot of work to kind of build that infrastructure, get it all working, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. For some reason, this is just not working now. So it was working 2 seconds ago, now it's not. Probably due to the fact that I'm just going to drop a weight debugger here. And hope that we can get some sort of debugging capabilities. Because we need to, we can't just kind of, I don't want to fly blind, I kind of actually want to be able to at least step at the least. Yeah, Friends was a really good game. And so, hey, look, maybe if I do the LAN party, I might actually just open it up to the internet and I'll publish the files on GitHub so people can basically download it, and then people can pretty much jump in on the action. Like, one thing I was kind of a little bit miffed about is the fact, and to be honest, admittedly, this is 2003. Microsoft still haven't released the source files, and I think if they could at least release the source files and we could recompile it and rewrite the server to be 64-bit itself, it means that the server can then do a lot more stuff. And you're kind of limited to how many ships and things like that. Like when we did the LAN party stuff, you just have ships everywhere. But I'm like, there's never enough ships. I just want like this massive armada, like thousands of ships kind of thing. And I remember trying to do it once and just watching the server. Like I chucked it on the fastest computer I had at the time, which, this is 5 years ago. So it was I had a hex core processor, but because it's single threaded, it all came down to how many CPU cycles you had. Yeah, I don't think this is working now. So you can see it's just not hooking in anymore. It is completely broken. So it worked and then it didn't. Maybe I'm going to try and restart VS Code. And hopefully we can fix it that way. Because I think it is kind of broken at the moment. Let's just go ahead and restart VS Code. Well, we had the thing is that when we did set it up, like I remember doing it, this was even, 10 years ago, me and my mates, we used to set it up, and we actually just went exploring, like we bought some ships and we're like, yeah, let's just go through here and see what this does. And we went exploring and we had it was honestly the best fun. And so that's kind of why we kind of did it again to see what was possible. So, and considering that I actually have the old build, there's a good chance I might be able to resurrect some of the files and systems from that, because we customized the mod. So, and to be honest, it's not that hard to do, but I'm just lazy. So, anyway, let's try and do this. See if we can actually get it to run. Okay, so that started nice and quick. Didn't start. Now it started. Hey, okay. We got one. Can we get two? Yes, we got two. All right. VS Code restart fixed it. All right. We are not doing anything else now. We are literally trying to make sure that we don't break it any further. All right, so let's see what's in rest body. I'm just going to shift F11 out. Don't you talk, don't you do anything. Okay, so it kind of gives us stuff, but because it's an object within an object within an object, it might work. I am honestly not sure what's going on here right now, so I'm kind of trying to figure out what we're supposed to be doing, or what am I actually supposed to be testing. So username, I can't actually, for some reason. Can I add to a watch? And then we have user post requests. So it seems like it has some expandability, doesn't have some expandability. So that's not great. I'm gonna see if I can actually just up out something in the debug console here. No, can't do it in the debug. Okay, let's try the terminal. I honestly don't think this is gonna work. No, it's not working. Okay. So let's just step in. So we've got the params. Oh, we can look at that. So the URI, the headers, the method, the body. I'm just gonna literally rip this out because we're kind of just, it makes it really hard to kind of check what's going on in here. It looks like it's compiled it, so you can see here, this is the body of the request. So that's basically the format that sentiment analysis requires. I don't know if this exists or not, so let's see. API v3 preview 1 has been deprecated. Huh? Where did that come from? Oh, that's sentiment analysis. Oh, okay. Oh, what? You got a new one? Gosh. Okay. Don't tell me it's a... API version v3 preview 1 has been deprecated. Please start the latest preview stable version available. So what's the latest version now? Oh, I'm just going to jump in the portal, see what the fun dealio is. But yeah, like, I think so much fun that was. Like, just the the game was so simple for its time. Yeah, like, it's just, for instance, like Star Citizen. Like, Star Citizen will be good, but it's just taking forever to get there. I need to quickly switch. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to probably do it. The more I think about it, the more it kind of grows on me. So the freelancer CD incepted another LAN party into my head. Yeah, it sure did. It's so funny though, because I remember when it came out, I was at school. Like, that's 2003. Oh, I was in grade 8. I remember getting the demo, and the demo wouldn't even run on my computer because it was so slow. And then I remember finally having a computer that was able to run the demo on. And then I remember playing it. Oh, this is the best thing I've ever played. It's so much fun. And then I'll just play the demo, like, which was literally the first mission over and 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 over again. And like, I just thought it was the best thing. Like, and what I did is that I went and actually, you could buy the Liberty ship, which was okay, but I just went and bought the freighter and I kitted the freighter out, and I just basically went and got the biggest firefights in the asteroid fields. I was just like, and basically I'll just make money, like increase my value by killing people. So I was like, and then I'd do it again and again. It was so much fun. And then I realized, and then my mate actually, my mate bought me the CD. Honestly, I'm probably, when I get to my new place, I might even look like I'm going to get a whole bunch of stuff framed. I might even just frame it because it has such value. Anyway, sentiment analysis. Honestly, what do I call it? PowerShell Michael sensor. I don't even know. It might be streaming. It must be under streaming. Here we go. Alright, what do we got? We got preview. I'm guessing it's preview 2. Oh no, still preview 1. So documentation hasn't been updated. Oh, there is a V3. I'm gonna guess that V3 is now the standard. Okay, let's just kind of guess with V3 preview. Like honestly, I have no idea if this is going to work or not. But we will just check. We'll just try and see what happens. VS Code's hung. It's hung. Oh well. I broke it. Let's just go ahead and restart it. Yep, it's hung. Let's restart that. So it's going to say V3 preview 2. Let's see what it is. Because it's basically, oh no, it just says it's V3. It might just be V3 now. There's no preview. They might have just brought it in. Yeah, it's V3. I'm just going to bring it as V3. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, so get rid of that wait debug. We have very limited viewability, but we have something, which is better than nothing. Drop a wait debugger there. Let's go ahead and start. So I'm gonna quickly stop because what do we got here? Invoke activity cannot be null. Okay, that's because we didn't clear the jobs. So I just need to restart this and kind of clear things up. Okay, once we've done that, let's go ahead and restart. Yeah, missed the freelancing. Alright, so now I'm just going to try and trigger it, see what happens. Well, we need to restart VS Code. We will find out. Find out. I'm thinking, oh man, I really want to do a LAN party with Freelancer again. It's just the one LAN party, Freelancer. That's it. And basically, I was thinking of different scenarios, and I was thinking about how the game ticks under the hood and trying to see if there's different things you can do with it. So like tower defense and things like that. I'm like, oh, you could potentially do tower defense, but the problem is that it would be quite difficult to summon waves. I don't know if you can spawn ships using FL Hook. I know that you can, like the way that the game works essentially is that you define an area, an engagement zone essentially, and it rolls the dice to determine whether ships are going to spawn or not. And depending on that, yeah, I think it's broken, so we're going to have to restart this. So essentially, it rolls the dice because it rolls that dice, and then based on the chances, it might spawn ships in. But you can't change, like you can't edit INI files because essentially all the systems, everything is just INI files. So you can't edit an INI file and without on the fly without having to restart the game itself. So it's kind of impractical to do that. So yeah, it's kind of, man, Freelancer was such a good game. It's actually still, even with Discovery, it's actually really good. Discovery's like actually made it really good. That's the Discovery mod. Yeah. I remember my mate putting me on the Discovery mod, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. Like, after playing the campaign, I just thought it was good, and then I played Discovery, and I was like, this is awesome. And we, learning all about how, like, and then modding the game is just another level of understanding and how the game ticks under the hood. Like, it was quite complicated to get it to work, but we got it there. So we're going to try and start this again, and hopefully we can get a debuggable session, because this is flaky as all hell. I feel like I just need to run this all day, and then I can be, you know, feel like I'm a pro. All right, we got content. That's good. Let's have a look at what we got. Only took like ages to try and get this to work. I don't think we have any variables. Can we add a watch? So there's errors. Why is there errors? Oh, my daughter is up and having a bit of a whinge. Oh, she's such an adorbes. This is problematic because REST request message ID. See if that works. Do we have an index? Apparently. I don't know. I don't think there's any data that's come back. Alright, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to cap all this data. And we're going to quickly replay it locally and then work out what it's coming back with. Because obviously it's a different version which could potentially break things and it's expecting different values. Which means then we have to fix that. But the problem is that actually running stuff is quite difficult. So what I'm going to do is literally just capture all the items and then we just paste them in a notepad document so I can run them locally. Copy value. Oh. So I copy value and it goes system collections type hash table. Not practical at all. Can I at least get the body? No. This is like everything that I hate is troubleshooting these kinds of stupid issues. Like, if I had a working debugger, I might have to try and go back to the older version again. Because this is literally just unusable. Alright, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to stop the host. Clear all the data. Go to extensions, PowerShell, disconnect. And close VS Code, reopen VS Code, close it again. I'm not going to reload it. I'm going to actually close and reopen it. And this time, hopefully, we can actually have a workable debug experience. I doubt it, but I'm optimistic. Because at least if we can work in the console, I can actually rerun requests and dump data out and work out what it's wrong with it. Because realistically, it's very hard to debug when you don't have it. And I think I probably might even shelf this project if it until I can actually get a workable solution. While I am trying to, it is just fighting the battles, and I'm just kind of growing tired of fighting these battles. Okay, can we actually do something with our parameters? Yes. Okay, good. Right, let's actually have a look at what we can get. Alright, now I can actually take a peek inside of it. Oh, it's like, does this work? No, okay. Can I do it in a terminal? Does this actually work? Okay, we have content. So if we go to documents, okay, we have content. So I have no idea what the other one was doing. At all, no idea whatsoever. Alright, now let's just continue the step. So if we go results.docs.index, this is how, if you're just joining, this is how we're supposed to debug. Not like that, and now I just have to step past it. And I just broke my code. Somehow I detached it. Good stuff, Michael, good stuff. It looks like it's actually finished it too. It's actually succeeded. So let's try not to break the debugger, even though it's very flaky at the moment. Let's see if we can actually get this to work. You can see it. It's not debugging. The debug's disconnected. No, it's hung. This is like the bane of my existence. Alright, this time I'm going to try not to break the debug console. But ultimately, this is a degree in frustration trying to write something. Like, it's very complicated, yes. But at the same time, no, it shouldn't be that hard to do. Will you let output 6? Oh, shoot. Why did I do that? I think I need to restart VS Code again to get the debug to work. Okay, I'm stopping this thing. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop this thing. And keep clear all the content. Restart VS Code. So what I'm going to do is just do that, and then I'm going to dump await debugger here so I can see what's going on. Now let's try and do this again, see what happens. Please, please let me debug. Okay. Thank you. Now we have to be super, super gentle. Okay, good. So we have results. Okay, so essentially this matches all the data, because ultimately you have disjointed data, and you could have data that basically posts that don't have anything in it. So essentially this marries up the actual request or the response with the ID, using the ID, then also matching there's an ID that's associated with the message ID. Now, I just actually want to have a quick look at message ID to make sure that there is something there. Yes, okay, so we have two message IDs. So essentially it associates them too. So you could have, yeah, it marries those two up. Okay, good. All right, so now we have user post index, sentiment results, add. This is going to be interesting. I think this is going to work. Now, the reason why you have multiple is because essentially you can have different paragraphs, and that need to be batched in different sections, because sentiment analysis can only do a certain amount per request. So in this instance, it means that you can gather multiple sentiment results for a single post if it's long enough. So let's just F11, step back through this. Okay, write output complete. Okay, so now under user posts, let's actually have a poke in here. Well, firstly, let's have a look at user. So user, username, and then we've got posts. So if we go posts, we go 0, you can see the name, the tag, the date posted, the ID, the subject, and then there should be a sentiment results. So if we go and have a look at that, Should. The other thing you can see there is that I just want to see if there's something here. It's not including the tag anymore. Tag must have changed again. The name and tag, because they were initially there, now they're gone. So, and then we have this weird. I don't know what is going on there. Why is it doing that? User post index. Okay, so user post 1 dot sentiment results 0. Okay, something's not right there. Why is that not working? Might help if I made that a hash table, Michael. Alright, now, because I'm going to let this run through, it basically will terminate. So that job is effectively complete now. So if I save it, this should reload, and we should have another go at debugging it again. I'm hoping. Alright, so... Oh, no, it's unhooked. That's fine. Hopefully, I'm hoping that this can fix what we wanted to see, or we can fix this issue, and then we can kind of move on. Yeah, that's fine. Oh my gosh, function host is completely logged again. Oh my gosh, it's hung. And VS Code's flaky. So that's what I mean. Function app is like dual function app is so flaky. Yeah. Yeah. It was going so well. And this is the problem, is it's just durable function app itself. A function app's perfectly fine, everything else is perfectly fine. Just durable function app. Yeah. And I have to kill it using fast kill. Just gonna restart it and then close it and then reopen it. And hopefully alright, let's go ahead and try to start this. Just making sure that I've got everything squared away. Clear all the jobs. Let's do it. Okay, let's trigger it. Whoa, okay, what's now going on here? Already existing specified property, now expand. Alright. Sentiment results already exists. We need to fix that. It needs to be recreated. Alright, if that's the case, stop. I'm gonna be super gentle here. Please don't break. Gosh, host did not shut down within the allocated time. This thing is... Yep, that's fine. As long as it stays fine, it's fine. Alright, so that already exists. We need to... So it worked, but it didn't work because essentially... it smells your feet. Oh, mate. I tell you right now, this thing is like completely stuffed. Oh, yeah, that should be fine. I can just reprint that. Actually, just going to create a list. So essentially, I'm just going to redefine it. To go through, redefine it. I've been doing tons of React, so I'm like, oh, I can't do this in React, and I'm like, no, I can't. I'm just thinking about, oh, I'm going to maintain state. I'm like, it's not immutable. I can do this. All right, let's go ahead and restart this and see what happens. Oh, I just made a big noo-noo. Okay. Yeah, we need to restart. We need to restart. We need to restart. Stop you. Stop, please. Oh, I'm gonna just restart VS Code. No, not Outlook. Alright. Everyone's got to make sure that sacrifice a goat. I was going to say, Shane, are you... did you submit a talk to the PS 24-hour live stream? Yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't really want to submit a talk because honestly, I did 2 talks this year and like the PowerShell Summit talk just burnt me out. And yeah, and then I'm just like, so I said to James, I'm like, can I just MC with you? Because let's say MC's hard, but it's like, because it requires still a lot of energy, but it's, yeah. This is your first hour, wow, okay. That's great you're spending with me. Chilling out. I have no idea if this is triggered or not. I think it's hung. I think it's hung. I don't think it's working now. Oh my gosh. This is so frustrating. Alright, first things first. Stop gracefully. Problem is it hits a wait debug and it doesn't, the debug doesn't hook. So, you know what that means. Time to restart VS Code. Clear the job. Honestly, I'm thinking, like, I'm getting to the point where I'm just thinking I'm just going to ditch it because it's just so much effort to try and continue to troubleshoot this with so many issues. But I'm so close to having it complete. It's like, oh, I'm past 50%. You should create a counter for it. What do you mean? Please wait, please wait, please wait, please wait. Scraping, scraping, scraping. Doing stuff, doing stuff, doing stuff. Please, please, please. Yes! Okay, we're back. We're back. We're back, baby. I'm back, baby. Alright. I'm gonna have a look at this. Good. Good. We have content. Alright. I think I'm just going to go to the next wait debugger. I want to see content injected. I'm just going to put a 0 there. There we go. Perfect. So now if we go sentiment results. There we go. Okay, so we're now attaching sentiment back. All right. We're progressing now. We are progressing slowly but surely. All right. So now I can now write the output back and hopefully, fingers crossed, we get an actual response. All right. So let's go ahead, complete it. It's done. I am now going to stop function it. And while I'm doing that, we're going to remove the wait debugger. Remove that one. And we're going to write an output. Of user. Which should write it back. All right, all right, all right. We are so close. This is a bit of a moment. I'm gonna have to savor it a bit here. Let's just do a func post start. I'm gonna basically run it without debugging. I feel confident enough it should work. So let's see if this works. So what we're going to do here is let's hit go. So essentially API, let's hit it. Okay, so you can see now if we query it, get the status query, it's running. So you can see it's doing its thing. It looks like it's done. I don't think that's true. It is. Look at that. Some bits and pieces with serialization though. That's fun. So serialization is a bit broken. Tags are broken, so you can see tags broken. But it's working. I'm not a fan of this. So, look, what it looks like it's doing is sentiment results. It's adding the object. So if I have a look at get Azure sentiment, so it's adding results. I think what it's doing is it's adding it directly. Okay, so result is probably not a PS custom object, and that's why it's not working. So we need to fix that because we actually want to see our full sentiment data. So let's work that out. So we've got a couple of things to fix here. We've got tag, name, and results. Once we've done that, then we should be able to expand it and then test it with a larger subset of data. So let's try this. Okay, so result. First things first, we need to gracefully shut it down. No, I'm not trying to try this collab sesh. Then we're going to clear everything. I need to have a look at what the result is in there. So if we do a wait debugger here, this might work, might not work. We'll find out. So I think once this is started, yeah. Oh, I can just see Core Bob's just joined. G'day, mate. You just come to join the agonizing debugging of a Azure a Google Function app. It is so flaky, it's not funny. I have to. There's a kind of a process that we have to go to get it to work, which involves restarting Visual Studio Code. So yeah, we got some, but we're making progress. So my thing that we need to focus on now is, is it going to let me now? Or is it going to let me debug? And I don't think it is. So let's go ahead and fix this problem. So what we need to do is we need to restart VS Code. Disconnect. So we're then going to close that, like so. So now it's closed. Reopen Visual Studio Code. We're going to clear the job from the Azure storage. And now we're going to restart. And hopefully this time it works. So I think this is going to work this time. It's hooked in. All right, okay, we're back. All right, so let's have a look at result. Well, you have to be really, really, really careful here. That's a PS custom object. It's a PS custom object. That's interesting. Because that's the reason why. So it's not necessarily the fact that it's not a PS custom object. It's the fact that basically when you write output, by default, function at when it converts to JSON is serializing on the normal depth. So it's the depth is too deep. Oh, so it's too shallow. So what we can do to get around that is we go ahead and stop everything. So I'm just going to serialize it myself. Get rid of that. So it's just going to serialize it myself, which will then pass it through. So literally just be a serialized string that goes straight back to the client. So if we restart with code start, and then we re-trigger it, we should have a full response, a nice full response. So you can see it's wandering on there. If we do a status query, we're still running. Now it's finished, and there we go. So we get our sentiment. Far out. What is wrong with this thing? Systems.collections.hashtable. Why? This is driving me nuts. Because if it's a hash, it wasn't even a hash table, it's a PS custom object. We did a get type on it. So where the hell is it thinking it's a hash table? Because it's not a hash table up here, it's a list. I have no idea what it's trying to do. I think it's... like you should just be able to serialize that entire thing. I think this is flaky as hell. Okay, if that's the case, why is it doing that? Because it's PS custom object. There's, you know what? I'm gonna try something. This is gonna probably break, but I just want to switch to a hash table, see what it does. See if it serializes correctly this time. Honestly, I don't know. It's driving me nuts though, that's for sure. Alright, triggered it. Wait. All that. Get my status query. Still running. Sentiment results is blank now. Just not adding this time. Cannot find overload for add with argument count 1. Yep, thought that'd be the case. Thought that'd be the case. Where is it creating this? Because I'm just tempted just to get rid of this with redeclaring it and then just create it like it should be. Because I think what's happening is because it exists prior to this. So if it's getting passed in, where is that? Is it doing it in scrape web posts maybe? Where is it doing it? HTTP requests? What I'm doing now is I'm trying to work out where is that object being created. All right, time to break out the big guns. Time to break out the big guns. There it is. Problem is that's never going to work because ultimately what's going to happen is because it doesn't preserve type. So essentially it's just going to get passed as a hash table. So we actually have to declare it within here. So I can get rid of this junk and we can say and we're just going to use a select expression to tack it on the end. Shit, just want to quickly try something for a sec. Oh, need to stop you. Stop, stop, stop. Please stop. I'm just going to do a quick. Just make sure that I haven't never used write output to accept pipelines, so I'm just going to do it that way. So essentially, take the existing, tack on select expression, put an equals there. So add in a select expression, which allows us to tack on the sentiment results object. It's an object. Maybe that's the reason why. And then see if that fixes it. All right, see if that fixes it. All right, so now if we re-trigger it, what is going to happen this time? I don't know if this is going to work. We'll find out. There's an error. Null valued? Don't believe that. Don't believe that at all. Apparently it can't add the result because the the property doesn't exist. But there it is. Oh boy. Oh boy. The problem is that attaching a debugger is really tough. I think I'm going to have to again, unfortunately. I don't want to kind of fly blind here. So we need to restart VS Code, clear this storage emulator, reopen it. Cert await debugger here. And go ahead and start debugging. I think what's potentially happening is it's not. I don't know. I think I'm just going to have a play around with it and work out what's going on. I'm actually not sure at the moment because it should exist. The select expression essentially is effectively a replacement for add member. And I don't really want to have to add member because that's not best practice. You gonna hook? Are you gonna hook? I don't know if it's gonna hook. I don't think it's hooked. No, it didn't hook. Please work. I'm just gonna try it again and see if I can at least get one to actually have a debug attachment. Okay, that works. I don't care. As long as it works, it works. Alright, so let's have a look at... Okay, so it has sentiment results. What's in there? Sounds like someone going fishing. Is it going to hook? Hoping it hooks? Yeah. VS Code fishing. You cannot call a method on null value expression. Now that only happens when it doesn't exist or it didn't create, because it has no type. It has no type. So that's interesting. Okay, if that's the case, how I'm gonna fix this? That's how I'm going to fix it. Right there. So what I'm going to do, and I can actually test this code. So what I'm going to do, I don't know how I'm going to test this. Since it's a hash table, we can just add it. We don't necessarily have to do an expression. So we can literally do this. Since we can dynamically add with hash tables. So essentially we add that property to that. So that should fix it because it's a type hash table. We can just add whatever item we want. That should sort our issues out. Now we need to stop everything. Attach. I'm just going to do a Funko start this time. Hopefully that fixes it. That means it's an easy fix. I don't have to spend ages trying to fix this issue. And it should restart it actually. Oh, I'm going to restop this. Stop, please. Good. Play that job. Just gonna start it from scratch with no. Oh, I didn't debug it. Didn't want to debug it. It's just so flaky when it's debugging. Yes. So start. So I'm thinking, this should fix it because ultimately, you can just add properties to a hash table. So we'll try that. So trigger it. Okay, so let's go have a look at it. Status query get. Didn't fix it. Still system collections.hash table. It shouldn't. I'm just trying to think the depth. I'm going to try and increase the depth. It could be the depth. Hang on, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It might be because the depth is too shallow. That could be the reason why. Okay, it's done. Need to head out to OpenSea. Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, let's do it. We're going depth 10. All in. All right, we're going to restart it. And we're just going all out. Depth 10. See what happens. It's interesting that it finds the only other reason why it's not doing it is could be potentially the fact that it's having trouble serializing it. No, still not doing it. But if we change that, and re-trigger it. Oh, it's not running yet. Not running yet. Not running yet. There we go. Not running yet. There we go. Oh, haven't started yet. What about now? Have you started yet? It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. Okay, we started. This is what's happening. So it's returning the text default to string value. I'm not happy with it. I don't know why it's doing that. Because realistically, we've added the data to the object. That should literally just work. There should be nothing wrong with that. It should be able to serialize it, but it's not actually serializing correctly. Oh yeah, I just heard my daughter, she's crying. I'm just doing this for the sake of testing. This is bad practice. You shouldn't have to do this. Oh no, I'm converting to rest body. Such bad practice, but I just don't understand why it's doing that. And like without a debugger that actually really quite functional, it's quite difficult. Okay, am I able to trigger it? Let's see what happens. Okay, let's get our status. That's what I thought. So that works. So sentiment results looks like, for some reason, an object is not valid. I don't get it. I don't get it. So it's... What I'm going to do, we're going to keep it like that. And we're going to have a play around with it. We're going to just drop a debugger in there. We're going to stop everything. And we're going to restart VS Code. And we're going to have a play. Because something's not right. For some reason, when it's calling that method, it's... I'm going to try this. Forgive me. This is bad. This is going to be very interesting. Is it a problem with it? Let's just go ahead and re-trigger it. Wait for it once it starts. There we go. Let's go ahead and trigger it. Running. That's returned the default hash table. So it's the same serialized hash table, but I'm also just going to what am I going to do? I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm just going to go depth 5. Don't go depth 6. Restart you. Please restart. Come on. Clear that. Start. Yeah, so it just returns system.collections.hashtable. All right, it's time. We are we're breaking out the debugger again. It's getting serious. And I'm very reluctant because of the processes that we have to go through and the hoops we have to jump through just to get a debugger to actually hook. It's really irritating. That didn't hook. See if we can get it hooked this time. Gonna hook? Nope. Let's try it again. It's so frustrating. Alright, let's try it again. Hopefully we can get a debug attached. I just want one, I don't care, as long as it hooks in. Didn't. It's so flaky. I think I have to restart it again. Because usually you'll see it hook in here. I don't think it's... Alright, let's just stop it. We're gonna restart it. Oh my gosh. Clear storage emulator, restart VS Code. Hopefully we can get a debug. It's all I need is just a single... And then I think we can finally figure out what the issue is. This is frustrating because you're trying to... I don't want to have to troubleshoot debugging issues. I want to just be able to work. It just seems to be... Okay, it's triggered. Is it going to hook? I don't know. Don't think it is. Prove me wrong, prove me wrong, prove me wrong. This is so frustrating. Let's try it again. It's not debugging. Oh, VS Code's high. Crashed. Completely crashed. I wonder if the thing still works. No, everything's crashed. Alright, I think if that's the case. I need to go to code. I just want it to work once. That's all I want, is just to be able to hook in. Nothing else, just hook in. Because then if I can hook it in, I can troubleshoot the issue. It's just like, it's so annoying. After this, I've also got to put my finger out and just lodge a common bug report, because it's just like the new debugging doesn't even work properly. Okay, it's triggered. Please hook, please hook, please hook. Yes! Okay. Let's look at it. So you can sentiment results, it's blank. So if I it's interesting. So there's content there. PS custom objects. G'day mate, how you going? Why is it? Is it because it's wrapped? Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try something. I'm just gonna go equals so reset it, and then we're just gonna go plus equals 1 plus equals 2 plus equals 3, and then we're gonna have a look at it. That's why. It's not an array, it's a string. Alright, it's midnight. I'm off. Best of luck, mate. Thanks, Shane. How you going, BW? That's the reason why it's doing it, because it's a type string. So I've just declared it. Actually, no, that shouldn't be it. Okay, let's try this again. I'm gonna say nothing. And now I'm going to say, I think I've figured it out. Let me just try something. A is equal to that. So I get A plus equals 1, A plus equals 2, A plus equals 3. What's it doing? See, it treats it as an array. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 2. Okay. But here, same thing. And then what we can do is we can go plus equals, oh gosh, I need to zoom back out. Control black, there we go. So if we go plus equals, and then we go 1 plus equals 2 plus equals 3, that's an array. But if I convert to JSON, it's a string. What is going on? It's a string. It doesn't cast it as an array. Good. I've been going over your old 101 series, learning a lot from them. Only partway through episode 2. That didn't understand the first time around. Have forgotten what those were things already, and then forgot something. Ah, yeah, you always forget something. That's all good, man. Oh man, that is interesting. Okay, let's quickly jump back to. One, two, three. Okay. We're going to see what is going on here. This is interesting now. This has kind of piqued my interest. What is going on? What is going on? Is it the parent object? I'm wondering. Oh, let's try this then. Is it the parent object? No. That is interesting. That is really interesting. You can see it's casting as a type array. However, then if I convert the actual user object itself, for some reason, it's casting it as a string. I have never seen anything like that before. Is it unable to do nested? No, that's not true, because I've done it before. Then why is it unable to do a nested convert? It's got to be to do with the objects. It's the only thing I can think of. It's the only thing I can think of is it can't convert a hash table array with a nested array. Okay, let's try that then. Okay, so we're going to create a hash table. In that hash table, we're going to give it an array. 1, 2, 3. Like so. I'm just going to be explicit. Make sure it's an array like so. If we go hash table, convert to JSON. That works. But what happens if we have a hash table array? So like so. That works. I'm completely at a loss to why it's unable to do that. This does not make sense at all, one bit. So if I convert to JSON, you can see here an array is passed as a string. However, if I explicitly cast that specific, it doesn't. I wonder if it's just that type. Okay, that's another thing we need to test. Okay, so that post.0, let's add an array. So now we have an array there, you can see. Let's see what happens if we do this. I'm at a loss. I'm at a complete loss. I'm at a complete loss. Because if I do the same thing, actually, let's try this. So that's the array. That works. Okay, so that's explicitly casted. But if I declare it like so, plus equals 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's just add a on the end. What is system? Shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter. When you declare it, it shouldn't matter. It's a system.type array. So if we add something to it, like so, and then do get type. It's a system.type array. This has now got to the interesting part, because that basically says I can create a standard type array, but when I create it in here, explicitly say, then do get type. That's an array. What? Now you're going to make a liar out of me? What? Am I like, has anyone else seen this? So initially when I did it prior, it wasn't an array. It wasn't an array, but now it's an array. So now if I do a convert to JSON, it's an array, but still type an array. So when I do this, see the array? I have no idea why it's doing this. You have your array, you have your sentiment results. What are we in the index value? What's our index value right now? 1, okay. Let's have a look at 1. Sentiment results. You have an array. That's an array. Completely, 100% an array. If I do this, still an array. So let's increase the depth to 5. Okay, still an array. Looks good. Everyone can see that. That looks good. And then let's increase it to 6. Confidence scores. What the hell's going on? What is going on here? What is going on? What? This just doesn't make sense. That. So you can see you actually have JSON being returned. And now we're going to return back to the user. And if we have a look at here, I have no idea what's going on. But interestingly though, you can see, okay, 1, 2, 8. So it is the data that we're returning. But for some reason, it just doesn't want to play ball. So why? I have no idea why it's doing this. Has anyone got any ideas? Because I'm out of ideas. I do not understand why it's doing what it's doing. I'll try something. I am completely out of ideas. I'm just going to restart that, rezoom it in so everyone can see again. That is just... Complete mind-bending randomness. I think the only um, unless it's literally just parentheses around it, but I'm literally don't understand why it's doing that. I hope that this fixes it. Because if it doesn't, yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Yeah. What I think is potentially happening is it's either a PowerShell problem or it's a typing problem. So we will see. So you got the username, the post. I'm just going to try something. Because it's the same issue. System.collections.hashtable. It's not serializing properly. It's basically doing a 2-string conversion. And it's for some reason. Okay, so I get the status. Interesting. So if I just went nested, you can see here you got the content. So I'm going to expand it. See what happens. Oops. Oh no, 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 no. I need to restart. I lost my URL. Copy you. Username equals. Still going. Okay, it's done. Confidence scores. It doesn't look like it's serializing it correctly. There is a definite serialization issue there. For some reason, it doesn't like to serialize this. And I am completely at odds to why. I have no idea why it's doing that. I think I'm going to have to kind of dwell on it for a little longer in my mind. Yeah, I don't know why. I just don't know why it's doing that. But for the sake of actually keeping things interesting, let's expand the scope of use. So we need to comment that out, and we're going to comment that out. What that's going to do is it's going to scrape everything. So this is going to be more of a performance test. We've got it all working now. Excuse me. So it's just now going to be a matter of seeing, can it actually do a full scrape, or is that something else that we need to troubleshoot? So let's give that a go. So rather than scraping 2 conversations, we're doing 200. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. Oh, it's struggling. So we've got high memory usage. It's going to do that there. High memory use. Oh gosh, this is going to probably. I need to stop my work machine. I need memory like ASAP. Oh, actually, no, I don't think I do. I think it's going to handle it. I'm just going to shut you down just to give me another 20 gig. The CPU's pegged. Have all the memories. Some may say this is denial of service, scraping all that data. I don't say that. Oh gosh, look at the memory grow. Oh gosh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh my god. Oh, I think I need to go find some more memory quickly. I'm gonna free up another 4 gig. I think it's got a memory leak. Maybe. No, it's just dropped something. Okay. Oh no, that's me dropping 4 gig. Is it complete? I'm just gonna check the status. It's still running. Oh, we got errors. We got errors. Oh boy. Invoke activity function. Oh boy. Value is null input. Okay, something is not going in correctly. Oh boy. I think it's failed. Please fail. It's completed. It says it's completed, which probably means it's failed. And there's no output. So let's have a look at the details here. It's got to be a record right there. I don't think I could deploy this to Azure. I don't think Azure would appreciate having an 18 gig function app running. Yeah. I'm going to try to take a screenie because it didn't happen unless you have a screenie. Oh man, I think that's an absolute killer. Oh boy. Alright, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. That's one going for the highlight reel. 18 gig. I'm just going to send a quick tweet. I need my 80 gig back. And oh man, that's But I've never had to like that. I think it means that yeah, that I'm kind of speechless. Oh yeah, I can tell you right now, straight off the bat, um, that's not going to be possible, and that's not a viable deployable product, which sucks. Um, it's just not deployable. Period. Yeah. I think there's so much stuff that's happening. I'm actually gonna give this one a break for a bit of time because it is so flaky trying to fix issues right now within it. I'm actually probably gonna wait just for a little bit longer for it to come out with a V1. Once it's got a V1 coming out, I think it's going to be a little bit better because it's unusable. Legitimately, it's unusable. So I think I'm just going to leave it there for the time being. But it's obviously coming up to 0900. This is when I usually end my stream. So guys, thanks for joining. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That was very interesting things that we came across with types and arrays where they're basically not casting correctly, but it is. Other things like trying to deal with convert to JSON and not serializing, and then finally 18 gig function app, which that's a lot of data. Like that's a lot of data, and I think to be honest, I can tweak it to run a little bit more memory efficient. It's running right now. I'm just smashing. Like there are so many activities available for it. It's just going for it, just perfectly fine. But I'm not quite prepared to pay for that level of service. So yeah. I think we're going to leave it there for today, and yeah, we'll pick it up next week. Next week's probably going to be a bit of a change. I'm tossing up whether I think I'm going to have a bit more of a break from doing any more teaching with 102 at the time being, just because I'm seriously burnt out. So I think I'm going to switch things up next week, and we're going to do something a little different. And one of the things I was thinking of doing was I came across the CD. You guys probably know it, Freelancer, and I used to do LAN parties with it a very, very long time ago. And what we did was we took the disco mod and we did a whole bunch of stuff with it. So I'm going to probably switch gears. One of the things I want to do is I want to be able to actually take the discovery mod from Freelancer and then put it into a essentially I need to build a function in PowerShell to be able to ingest the INI file so we can mod it. So my idea is, and it's going to be pretty simple because they're INI files, so write a parser for it's actually going to be quite simple, and then bring it as a PS object, and to be able to serialize it back out as an INI, which would be really cool. And so the idea is essentially so you can import, for example, a system. And it basically go and get the way that it works under the hood is it's all INI configuration. So essentially, and it relies on nicknames. So you would import this. You would import the build, and then what it would do is it will basically this is how I'm thinking about doing it in PowerShell. It'll import the build, and then once it knows that, it then basically essentially builds a bit of a map in memory, and then when you load, for example, an actual system like a space system in memory, so if you port it, it will actually go in and construct custom objects for each of those things, so you can know, okay, li rep underscore, no, it's like li01 / underscore arp or something like that is this. So essentially you can have a complete breakdown of if you wanted to make tweaks here and there. So you could tweak it in PowerShell because you actually know what it is. And then from that, you'd be able to actually then re-export it, the system, and it would actually be able to successfully re-encode the file and then be able to play it. So we could add, ships and encounters and things like that. And that would be really cool because it'll help me actually fix. Because the one thing is, there's some really good tools out there that allow you to create systems in Freelancer, which would be a lot of fun. But because this is a PowerShell thing, we'll be basically doing it, some of it in PowerShell. Obviously, we're using it to create some game dev, and then at the same time, because I might actually build it into a LAN party, and I'm still tossing up whether to make it. Like, I'll probably make the build available on GitHub, so people can actually download it and compile it and run it themselves. But then what I was thinking of doing is we might have a LAN party coming up. I'm not sure when, might be in 6 months, probably around that kind of mark, because that's when I'll be in my new house. Maybe 7 months, I don't know, it might even be shorter, who knows. And we can actually just run a build, public build that people can basically go get, and we just do a full PvE experience with, like 30 players on the server, and we just go absolutely nuts, which would be a lot of fun. So, and with that, we actually have to build some tools around it as well, so people can actually do admin, things like that. So a lot of people, the way that I ran the LAN parties back in the day was we I wrote a PowerShell script, which essentially you could load up on a person's computer, and that would send the commands to the server. So for example, if you want to reset your reputation and get everything back to stock defaults, yes, you could do it in the game, but like for instance, if you wanted to go find all the you want a fighter, I basically I went and found all the best ships in the game in their locations, and then essentially wrote commands so that people could then go and kit themselves up while at the same time, and then basically it just makes it super easy to manage, and they can do whatever they want. If they run out of cash, they can just add cash, things like that. If you want a battle cruiser or battleships, you would go and get that, and they'll basically set your reputation so that you'd be able to actually buy all the stuff, so you didn't have to mess around with all that and try and work out which ones it is, and because that was the toughest thing. So with the new version, essentially we've got to write a new command and control, because if it's going to be over the internet, which is a completely different way of running the code, and I'm not, to be honest, I'm just going to probably run the server in a VM in Azure. Essentially, we need to build some infrastructure around that for people to be able to do that. And I think the best way to do that probably would be, it's either using Azure Automation Runbooks, which we can use webhooks to trigger. Then we probably going to need to work out a way to auth, some sort of auth mechanism to kind of prevent people from kind of messing around with other users. So, not sure how we're going to do that. Maybe actually, I think I know how I'm going to do that. So what we're going to do there is to mitigate that. People who sign in can go to a web page, punch in their username, and what it will do is it will generate a two-factor code that they can use on their phone, so they can scan it with their Google Authenticator, and that will basically be their auth mechanism. So essentially what would happen is when you could go to the public page, anyone can go to the public page, but you need to put the auth you need to put the code in, the two-factor code in, and then basically it would just use that as an auth mechanism. So obviously you have the two-factor code, which obviously is continually changing, so ultimately it prevents people from kind of mucking around and teleporting people around and abusing the admin. So I think that'll be a really good way that'll be an interesting project to kind of build as well for this potential LAN party. I'm seeing if anyone's actually, and I think as well as it probably, like, a lot of people actually like the game. It has a lot, like, for me, it's got a lot of sentimental value. So I think for me, like, I know that I know there's one person at work, so I know there'll be a couple of people that a couple of my mates will be quite into that, and I think there'll be a couple of other people. So you might have a team of about 10 people, which would be cool. I know there might be a couple of other people that might be interested. And the thing is that if I can make the build available, essentially people can go and get it without having to. Yeah. Freelancer. 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 Essentially, it's the precursor to Star Citizen. So, yeah. But it's it's actually what I did was I built a custom server that people could do really cool things with, and we basically did a whole like a PvE kind of experience, and a lot of people really enjoy those kinds of PvE experiences. That's what I found. Like PvP is kind of a bit more. When you haven't played it for a while, it's kind of hard to get back into. So generally, PvE is a little bit more easier for people to kind of follow. And there's a bit of a story that usually I sit down and kind of work out what the story is going to be behind the scenes, and then I can kind of code the server to that specific story. So it's a bit like a D&D kind of session, but with Freelancer. And so then with that, I'll probably make it publicly available, and it'll be a custom build, which is going to be really tough for some people. So if anyone's on the Disco community, would be probably trying to join, it might not work. So I might see if I create a custom build number for it, so that people just can't generally join off it, and then kind of find that there's missing stuff because their INI files are not working properly. So, so that's pretty much that. I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Fun stream. Learnt a lot. If you guys are interested in getting into that kind of work, because I do think it could be a collab job. Like we got Visual Studio Code, code sharing, so people can do multiple things. We can kind of work on it together. Let me know, because I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done around it to be able to make this kind of LAN party quite successful. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there for today. Have a good day, good night, or good evening. And I hope to see you guys next time. Anyway, bye for now.